welcome to the Don't You Know I'm Loco podcast. We are three cousins looking to break generational curses by sharing our mental health and healing journeys. Join me, Candy,
Lisa.
and
Renee.
as we talk about the things we're not supposed to talk about. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to episode 21.
21. Shot.
So we got a lot of good feedback from the last episode. Everybody enjoyed it. Yeah.
What happened?
Mexican
American.
No. What's the feedback?
So Mariah loved it. Mariah said she loves
Hi,
getting
Mariah.
shout outs.
My
Erica
monkey
said
face.
she loved it. She says she responds back to us like if she's here.
She's here?
And she said
I
thanks
love
for the
that.
shout out too. Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else. Somebody else. I can't remember right now. Sorry that I don't remember. But
Yeah. That was on the spot.
yeah. But I was like, ooh, thanks guys. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, last episode was fun.
That was fun.
It was fun.
That was fun.
It
It was a good
was.
one.
All of the things.
We're keeping with the. Well, I'm keeping with the
Oh.
Mexican American
It's okay.
heritage.
Okay.
My
Next week I
Mexico
got you.
jersey.
That was my intention, and because I didn't show last week the shirt that I had on. The shirt that I had on last week said, "We will no longer tell girls que what is it? Que calladitas se ven más bonita. Fuck that, mija. Usa tu voz." Which means like we'll no longer tell girls that they look better when they're quiet, like when they don't use their voice. And so when I buy graphic tees, I try to make sure that it's something like it's a small business and it's something that has meaning to it, you know. So like today, I have the female mariachi.
Oh, that's cool.
And they have little heart
They have heart
sunglasses.
sunglasses.
So cute.
I know. I was like, ooh. Yeah. So that my intent for Hispanic Heritage Month is to wear a graphic tee or something that's Hispanic heritage.
I love it. I'm gonna be staring at your shirt
I know,
all
it's
the
one of my
time.
favorites.
It's so cute because they're all. It's like all detailed. Like
Yeah.
so
I
cute.
think this one is from a place called Mexico My Pocket, I think it's called. I'll tag them.
Yeah.
too.
For sure.
And then last week's I'll tag too. Speaking of tagging,
Yeah.
for last week's episode, I included the books that I suggested and stuff. And I also tagged the authors, and the author of my favorite book reposted our mention. Yeah, she like reacted and reposted. I was like, how fun!
Oh, hey, did you guys see?
Yeah, we were like so excited. So that was cool, you know. And keeping with that, I brought some more books. This time I brought kids books because I feel like that's important.
Yeah.
So these are from a brand called Lil Libros.
Lil.
Lil.
I love saying that. Go ahead.
And it's
Lil.
English and Spanish. This one is La Catrina, and then it says emotions, emociones. So it has like Dia de los Muertos style, and then it has it
That's
in English and
cool.
Spanish, which I think is cool.
Even like the art is beautiful.
That
Yeah.
is.
And this is
love
by Patty Rodriguez. So it's a Latina-owned company, and she started off small. And I believe from an interview that I've heard, they were like, nobody has any interest in that. Now she has so many books.
Yeah.
Like she does like
I bought a few from
like
from a
bio
friend.
ones. Like this one is Selena,
Uh-huh.
and then it like tells her story. This one is the life of La Vida de Selena. And
cute.
so,
That's cute.
yeah, I thought it was cool because I'm like, okay, she was like, I'm going to make it because I know
Yeah.
because representation matters, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
So I was like, ah. And then this one is called The Paletero Man.
Oh
and
my gosh.
This is
That's
by
cool.
Lucky Diaz.
Oh my gosh.
Actually,
That's
I went
cool.
to last year, the year before,
Wow,
Las
that's so
Vegas.
beautiful.
The Las
Those
Vegas
colors.
Book Fair. And I went because Prisca Dorcas was gonna be there and reading, and so I was looking around it, and I had been wanting this book, and this guy was here too, Lucky Diaz. So I have a picture with him, and then he also signed my book.
Oh,
out.
nice.
Check- so I have-
Hey, look at the smiling palette.
Yeah. And he has different ones, and they're same thing.
Oh my God, look at the back.
Oh,
Oh,
that's cool.
so cute.
And it's like a cute little story. It has like it's about the paletero man, so like
Yeah.
it just has all these cool pictures, like
That's
all
cool.
these things.
That is
he
really
has-
cool.
He has another one I know that's called.
Show the back. It's adorable.
Oh yeah, see the little, so cute. But right now, this book is at Kohl's.
Oh.
You know how they have their Kohl's Cares?
Yeah.
For $5.
Yeah.
The book. So this book is there right now for $5.
Ooh.
So
Better
pick
run.
it up. Yeah,
Better
pick
run.
it up. These are good for gifts.
Yeah.
I love to pick up books for gifts because they're like these are
Yes.
so cool. Like
That's
they're
cool.
so bright and just really cool. So
Oh,
I just wanted to bring these in to
that.
recommend them because
And then
these
like
are so-
Kohl's gives back or something
Yeah,
too,
Kohl's
huh? Like a
Cares.
portion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So these
Yay,
little
Kohl's.
libros and the
Yay.
paletero man.
Nice.
Oh, I love it.
And then I'll put these up in our Instagram too, which I created a highlight on our account. So if you look at like our
Oh.
grid,
Oh,
there's a
what's that?
highlight where you can go back. And so like when I put them in the stories, I'll save them there. So then you can
Oh.
always go back and look
Oh,
at
cool.
them. So if you're ever wondering one of the books that we've talked about or anything, you could always go back there and look at it there. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Nice.
Ah.
But yeah. So guys.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of paletero,
Yes.
the other day I was on the east,
Uh-huh.
East side?
on the east side.
Uh-huh.
And I heard the paletero man, right?
Uh-huh.
Like I heard the ring,
Uh-huh.
and then I was like, where is it? This guy had a golf cart
Oh.
Oh.
full of like everything, right? And he
Really?
was like he was driving like nothing, and he was just like honking his horn and
On
like
Boulder?
like
fun.
On Boulder?
it was
City?
no, I
Boulder.
don't remember what street it was on, but it was like he had like a little golf cart.
Yeah.
Like it was
Had it
amazing
set
how
up.
how they like
Yeah,
you know
they're
like
innovative.
came up. Yeah.
You know what I always miss? Like when we moved from Compton to Orange County, like there went all the street vendors, you know, like there wasn't any
Even
of
the ice
that.
cream man.
I know.
Ice cream man in Compton used to pass by like every 10 minutes.
Every
I
day.
swear.
Sometimes, but like the good ice cream
Yeah.
with the soft
Yeah.
serve.
The soft serve.
Oh, so good. But
And the
when I
donut
moved,
man.
I was like, what?
The donut
And
man.
sometimes they would, yes. Oh, hold on. The donut man was like literally a van
Uh-huh.
with a clear glass,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
would slide down like that. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh.
honk.
And
Didn't
they
he have a
were
honk?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like 5 a.m. too. Like they would roll
love
up.
that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's the
this is
best.
in the
Are you
hood,
kidding
but
me?
like,
Yeah.
you guys
The
don't
hood
got
has the best
this?
food.
Even one time, because
Chili-
They
sometimes
always
chili
do.
cheese Fritos.
oh
my God.
yes, oh my god, the soft serve ice cream
gosh.
man, the
Yeah.
even the paletero man, like
Yeah.
all these things. I'm like,
Mhm. Hood
I know.
staples.
Dang.
for real, yeah, because they would never come around, and it's funny because, when we lived in Buena Park, sometimes. Elotero would come, right? But he would like go missing for a little bit. I'm like, somebody snitched on him, you jerks, right? Haters, I'm like, "Dang it." Yes. And like one time, I was having a birthday party, and like, Desiree came back with the raspado, and she like spiked it, right? And one of her friends was like, "Where did you get that?" And she's like, "From the elotero man, like the raspado man's out there." And he's like, "What? They come here?" Because they lived in like they call it the L track. We lived in the L track, and they lived in the sand track. So like on the other side of Crescent, like all the streets are
Oh.
called San Fernando,
Yeah.
San this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And then our streets were El Prado, El this, you know. So
Oh.
they call it the L and the
Oh,
L and the
I
sand
never knew that.
and the sand track, right?
Yes, how
But
funny.
the raspalo elotero man wouldn't go over there, right? And
Oh.
so we were like, because we were like closer to like East Side Buena Park.
Yeah.
So we were like,
The east side.
so they would come sometimes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
because it was like a feeling of like home, you know, like Yeah.
It is. You do feel like that.
yeah. So when I find little spots here in
Uh-huh.
Vegas, I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm coming here
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. I'm like, even when we go to like the to La Bonita, the Mexican
Oh,
market out
yeah.
here, I'm like, or getting everything from them. But yeah,
You're like, take my money.
yes, take it all. Oh my god, I spend so much money when I go there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anyways,
Oh,
back to
little man.
back to the podcast. So who wants to go first with their challenge this week?
I'll go first this week.
Okay.
All right. So yesterday after we left dinner,
Mhm.
with Candy's dinner, birthday dinner.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday, Candy!
Thanks.
I was like, I'm gonna go to Green Valley
Mhm.
to gamble, right?
Uh huh.
And I was like, I'm gonna go test it out, see if these machines are the winners, right? Like they
Uh-huh.
have a certain strategy. I went. I was there for a few hours. I lost, but while I was there, they always say gambling is like a drug too, right? I
Mhm.
never felt that
Mhm.
until yesterday. I was gambling. I was playing the machine, and I
Mhm.
stopped. I
Yeah.
looked around. I was like, "The fuck?" I'm like, "Am I high or something?" And I even smelled like
Whoa.
I even smelled like cocaine. Like, yeah, like my brain just whoop whoop. Like I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "This isn't good." So I came home, and you learn stuff right at
Mhm.
rehab and stuff and whatnot. And I learned like there's ways to prevent stuff and to like just make it harder for you to do things, right?
Mhm.
So I was like, fuck, I gotta tear up my card. So I came home, I tore my debit card. So now I don't have like, I still have access to money, of course. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
you just
but
can't
I have
get
to go get it.
cash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and or like anything, I'll Zelle somebody.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I have my credit cards too, but like I can't
Mhm.
get out
Yeah.
money that way.
Mm.
So I'm like, you know what? I gotta do this because
Yeah.
You gotta go extreme.
I gotta go extreme to
Yeah.
stop myself because I did yesterday really see that it was a problem because
Oh.
when
Yeah.
I felt that and I smelled that I was like, what the
That's so
fuck?
crazy.
Yeah, I was like,
Mhm.
this is weird.
Your brain, almost like your
Yeah.
brain got the high of being high by gambling,
Mm-hmm.
like the endorphins or
Yes,
like the,
Yeah.
that.
exactly.
Interesting.
I
I've
was
always
just-
wondered with gambling because I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not like a substance. It's not like something like,
But it's more
You
about what it does to
know,
your
like-
cabeza.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Head.
you can't stop. I get that. That's how I am.
Yeah.
I am like with drinking. That's why
Yeah.
it's like I just cut it completely.
Mm.
My shopping is still a problem. Because I said I wasn't going to shop, and I shopped these last these
you just
last
shouted out a
these
whole
last-
bunch of
these
things.
last 2 weeks. I've been on that app like this. Ding 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 ding. I'm like, oh my god, the mailman's gonna hate me. Sorry, babe, but it was my birthday, so
Yeah. Yeah.
Birthday month.
I had birthday money to spend. Okay. But yeah.
Birthday money.
Well, I'm glad that you recognize
Yeah, I
that
recognize
and you
that I
did something
did
about
something
it.
about
Yeah.
it.
Good for you, Renee.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm learning from Fernando. There's problems like
Yeah.
he says there's a problem. There's always a solution for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, this is
Yeah,
a problem
you
now.
said that, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a solution.
Yeah.
He's very insightful, and sometimes I'm like, you're right, you know, or I'm like, I know you're right, but why do you always have to be right, you know? That's just me. It's funny because I have my appointment with the new therapist, and so we
Yeah.
were talking about things, and she was like, she asked me a question, and I was like, no. And then later she asked me another question, and I was like, so you know how I said no to that question? That wasn't true because now I remember this. Like, so, and she was like, so tell me about that. And I was like, but it's like so weird because it's like starting over. And it's like, I haven't had to tell these stories in a very long time because I've been with the same therapist. So I was like, ooh. Yeah, like she's like, and then she asked me that too. How do you feel about going to a new therapist? Like, how do you feel about the change? And I was like, actually, I'm excited. And I was like, because before, like, even at the beginning of this podcast, I was like, she can't leave me. Like, no. And now I'm like, I'm excited. Like, I'm excited to start something new and learn new stuff. So she was like, oh, that's good. So I have an appointment in 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm excited. Because it was like, okay.
Cool.
She was like, oh, we can do this things. And she's like new. Like, she's like newly like in the field. So I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And if I need
Yeah.
somebody else, I can always go
Yeah.
somewhere. Like, it's such a big company that there's like different things. It's like, cool. I know, I'm excited.
I always want to like see how like the new therapists, because they have new techniques and they have like new, you know, and they learn the old stuff, you know.
It's always
like,
evolving.
I mean, I know it's experience too, but
Yeah.
you know, that's
Like
really cool.
She even was like, I have this book that I've been reading and working with. And she goes, and I think that actually we could do some stuff from there with you because it might help you. Like, she's like, I think you would be a good candidate to try that out. And I was like, okay. It's like, do all the things, girl. I'm down for anything. Yeah. But yeah. What about you, Lisa?
Well, there was like a millisecond
Mhm.
that I wanted to fall back,
Mhm.
like so easy, right?
Mhm.
So easy, and it was like, I don't want to take my medication. Like, I don't want to take all those pills. Like, I don't want to do it. Like, oh, like it grosses me out. Like, right? It's
Yeah.
too many. Like, I mean, not that it's a lot, but it's like too much to
Yeah.
take. I don't know,
Mhm.
right? So I went one day without it,
Mhm.
and then right away I felt, and then I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh shoot!
Like, I literally said that. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And I just like took my medication right there and then, and like
Mhm.
a few hours later I felt way back to normal, but I was just
Mhm.
like, whoa,
Yeah.
right? Like, and
Yeah.
it was so like fast and easy and like it
Mhm.
was just like like so easy to get back into like that cycle of, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
So that was my challenge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That happens. I've done that before where I'm like, I don't
I'm
need
like,
it. Or I don't want to
yeah.
take it. And then I'm like,
I know.
dude, I'm just making both of our lives difficult because then
Yeah.
it's like my attitude doesn't turn
Yeah.
off. Like,
Yeah.
hello. Yeah. And then I just get anxious for no reason.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's hard. And then
Uh-huh.
once you realize it, like, no, this is like brushing my teeth. I need to do
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
because it's part of my like it's
Yeah.
part of my life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah, thank you. Also, I asked Max if he can help me
Mhm.
with whatever. Like, I don't know what I need help with, but I need help
Uh-huh.
taking my medication. So he's
Mhm.
been texting me at 9
Oh.
p.m. every night, like, hey. And then, like, the first couple times, he was like, I'm sorry if I'm annoying you. And I was like, no, you're not annoying me. Like, I need this. Like,
Yeah.
this works for me,
Yeah.
you know?
He's
And
supporting you.
yeah. So that was cool.
I think I mentioned this in the previous episode where I do something where I link it with my taking my medicine, and that
Yeah.
helps a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like when I make my bed, I take my
Uh-huh.
medicine.
Mm.
I'm like, oh,
Uh-huh, yeah.
my bed's not made yet.
Oh,
my
wow.
medicine's not
Yeah.
taking it. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it helps me a lot because I
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to take it, but I'll forget. I'm like, did I take them?
Yeah. Yeah. There's been times where I'm like, because mine is like by where like all my jewelry, all my makeup, and everything is at. It's right there. And so there's been times where I walk downstairs and I'm like, oh, I'm all the way downstairs. I gotta go back up. But I'm like, nope, go back upstairs. Like, you have to take it
Yeah.
because it's just gonna
Yeah.
shift
Yeah.
shit in you. Mm-hmm.
It does, really.
And that book that I was reading, The Atomic Habits.
Yes.
Like the whole like you gotta like it starts with the little stuff, you know, like,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
think that's what kind of pushed me into like, you know, you're gonna feel like shit. Get the fuck up and go take your medication. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Mhm.
I don't know.
No.
But at least you realized it and fixed it.
Yeah.
You're working.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a marathon. Always. It's not one thing, it's another.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Candy.
Me? What was my challenge? This week, I don't remember. Do I have a challenge? I know this was coming up, and then I didn't think of it.
Maybe you didn't have a challenge.
I
Yeah.
think maybe I
Maybe
didn't.
you don't
I'll probably
have
think
time.
of one when I go home tonight.
Yeah.
Guys.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. And then
Should've
next week you'll do
mentioned
too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No challenge.
Yeah.
No challenge.
No
That's-
challenge
Yay!
here.
Let's round of applause for that.
Yeah.
It's a good week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your
To have a
birthday week. What are you
challenge.
talking
yeah.
about?
That's what I've been saying
YOLO.
like the whole week. I forgot what yesterday. I was like, I told Rihanna, but it's my birthday. I could do whatever I want. It's like, no, you can't. Yes, I can. It was so funny because I wore this dress that I have been waiting to wear. It was like a red, like leather, tube top dress,
Mhm.
and I wore it with sneakers because I was like, I want to like dress it down a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then Fernando was like, and I know that he didn't mean it in like a bad way. He was like, "Are you gonna wear that to Costco?" And I was like, Yes, I am.
Yes.
And I did. And then
Exactly.
he even took a picture of me and was like, look at you at Costco in your dress. Yeah.
Oh, I love
I
it.
know I'm the best dressed person at Costco. I don't
Yeah.
care. Like, this is my birthday outfit. And I was like,
love
but it was
that.
so funny because he was like, I remember when we first started dating, like, all you owned was like sports shirts and you would always wear sneakers. And he was used to dating girls like that were always in wedges and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I don't. That's
I
not
don't
me.
tell
Now I'm like, I'll still wear sneakers, but I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I'm always like in an outfit that I'm like, you know, makes me happy, like the
Yeah.
colors and the accessories and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I'm like,
And your shoes and everything. Like,
yeah.
it's all.
I'm like, it just makes me happy.
Yeah.
So yes,
And
I'm gonna
why
wear
not
it.
do what makes you happy?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I almost had an outfit change, but I was like, no, I'm gonna keep this one on.
Mm.
But yeah.
It's adorable.
So
Mm-hmm.
today we are going to be talking about generational trauma.
The gift. What'd you say? The gift that keeps on giving.
Do you want to read this quote, Renee?
Yes.
This is from Araceli told me this. My
Korea.
Korea. She was on our podcast
Yeah.
previously, right? She said, "I didn't get passed down any generational wealth. I got passed down generational trauma."
Amen.
Yeah. So let's see. We have a chart that we'll put
Explains
up.
it.
Yeah, which you'll see up on the screen while you're watching this. And if you're not watching and you're listening, go check out the YouTube too. You're missing.
Subscribe to
You're,
both.
you're missing some good stuff. You're missing some comedy on there too. So it says, intergenerational trauma is someone who experiences trauma like abuse can suffer from lifelong effects. And then it has a picture of the next person and it says effects like anxiety, shame, depression, substance abuse, and risky behavior. Then goes off to the next person. When that person has children, the impact of the trauma can affect them. Parents may develop a neglectful / authoritative style or project their trauma on their children. As a result, the child develops a trauma due to growing up with a traumatized parent. And then the arrow points at the last, like the granddaughter. It says, this is intergenerational trauma, as the effects of trauma are passed on through generations. So yesterday at dinner, we were talking about this with our parents. My tío went to dinner with my parents, my sister, my niece, and Fernando and I. And your dad asked about what the topic was, and we said it was this. And he was like, well, what does that mean? And the way that I explained it was, so let's say you got bit by a dog. Let's say Hector got bit by a dog, and he was scared of dogs and didn't allow you guys to have a dog. So as a kid, you're going to be scared of dogs, right? Because your dad has put this fear into you. And then you could also put that fear into your children.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
keeps going. Like the cup keeps getting full, you know, with all this stuff. Because it's intergenerational, but it's also unhealed. So like everybody keeps... Nobody
Yeah.
heals it, so
Yeah.
it doesn't
So it keeps
stop. Yeah,
passing.
and you don't break the
down.
generational curses.
Yeah.
So that's how we explained it yesterday, but it was just interesting. And then he did mention something
Yes,
that,
he's never mentioned that before to me personally.
yeah,
He did have a beer.
yeah,
He opened up a little bit.
yeah,
We were like,
Yeah.
let's get him on the podcast. He's like, no. We're like, we'll give you beers.
yeah. He'll feed you the
Open
beers,
up.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that would be so fun.
right?
So he did mention that his mom came to the United States and left like his brothers and sisters in Mexico for like 6 years. So
No.
yeah.
Was
Right?
it 6 years or
Yeah,
6 months?
6 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my grandmommy came over here to like make them a
Yeah.
better life,
Yeah.
but left them.
Yeah.
And I don't think he understands like that's traumatic.
That's
Mhm.
abandonment.
And
That's
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't understand that. And
Yeah.
he doesn't think that he needed therapy of any kind.
Yeah.
So what did he turn to for therapy?
alcohol.
alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still does.
Yeah. But even for him to make that connection,
Yeah.
I thought was cool because he was like, oh, you
Oh,
know what, this,
yeah.
you know? And we were all
That's
like,
the first
what?
time I ever heard him
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah?
To me,
Oh.
I think my mom has
Yeah.
told me something
Yeah?
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has, but I didn't know it was that long. I
Yeah.
was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, look at us doing stuff over here. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's so interesting. But it's true. I want to play this video because it also affects like your body as well. Because we were talking about how I think maybe this video might also explain it. Hold on. That's not it. Oops, sorry, babe.
There's this book that I've been reading in parts, and actually, I'm listening to it, the audiobook on this one, and I went back to it today to just to refresh, and oh my gosh, I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'm sure you've read it, but it's Break the Cycle by Dr. Marielle Boque, and she pretty much says exactly like she's Dominican, I think she Black Afro Latina, I think that's what she called it. But she broke her cycle in her family, and she tells you in this book exactly how to do it. She's a doctor already, but she's like, so she has like all the science and stuff behind it to back everything up. And she talks about the same thing of how it is, because it's something with like neurology or neurology. Yeah, something like that, right?
Neuroscience.
Yeah, neuroscience, maybe, whatever. Like when you get traumatic, or when you get like something happens,
Yeah, trauma.
and then like that triggers something, and then like if you don't, like heal it or do anything about it, then it turns into like a, not a mass, but it turns into like stress.
It rewires
turns
your
into
brain,
like
huh?
yeah, and like it like kind of does like a little circuit, kind of like a like it clogs the like thing, and that's where it has the disconnects where
That's absolutely.
Where we have those, where addiction comes in, and because there's like it's blocked, right?
Yeah.
Like a traffic jam.
Yes, yes, yeah. And she just it just it's a really, really good book, really, really good book.
Check that one out. Break the Cycle.
Break the
You
Cycle.
gotta put that one up on the
Yeah,
wall.
we'll definitely put it up there. And she's just so like empowering, and so like she's a shit.
So the video that I have is her, and I didn't even realize
No
it.
way!
I swear.
Oh
I swear.
shit!
Look, let me play it.
Oh my god, how funny.
You weren't even born yet. As a matter of fact, your mother wasn't even born yet. And yet when your grandmother was 5 months pregnant with your mother in her womb, you had already developed into a tiny microscopic cell inside of your mother's reproductive organs. That's right. You were once a part of 3 bodies in one. 3 generations taking in the same sounds, the same sensations, the same stressors, and also the same love. Whatever was happening in your grandmother's world that was causing her stress was filtering stress-based hormones into her bloodstream that reached your mother and would have eventually reached you. Fast forward to when you're a kid. Your mother has a really rough day at work. When she comes home, you say, "Mom, can I please watch this show on TV?" She screams at you with so much rage. She's in the nervous system response called fight mode. And so what do? You flee. You run to your room. Now your grandmother, who happens to live with you both, comes out of her room and she says, "Please, stop yelling at that child that way. I'll do anything for you to stop." She's in fawn mode, people pleasing. Now you have 3 generations that used to coexist within each other, who now cohabitate and trigger each other collectively. This is something I call the intergenerational nervous system. And you can learn about it more in my book.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
She
crazy.
has a lot of examples.
Yeah,
A lot.
We'll tag her in the
For
book when we
sure.
do it. But yeah, I had saved it because I when I see stuff on Instagram, I'll bookmark them into. I have a collection for the podcast of stuff, And right now, when you were saying the book and the name, when you said she was Dominican, and I was like, this girl's Dominican. I know that's. And then I looked at the name, and I was like, it's the same
How
person.
funny.
Yeah. Like there's so much information out there, and it's
Yeah.
cool because it's like, again, by us for us. You know, like
Yes.
stuff that.
And I love how they all say the same thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to like gatekeep anything. Like,
No.
you know, we want, you
Yeah.
know, you guys to read our stuff and,
Mhm.
you know, and know that we're not, you know, pieces of shits. We're not like rapists and, you know, criminals and like, fuck, we're fucking smart as fuck, right?
Yeah.
We just need to
Mhm.
figure our way, you know?
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. How cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we talked about that yesterday
Yeah.
too, right? About that, it's like you're technically in your grandmother's body as a woman. You're in your mom's. You're in your grandmother's body at
That's
some point.
crazy.
And so yeah, whatever she experienced is also you're growing. You know, when your mom is growing you, that also is getting fused into you.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
like
so powerful. Like,
yeah, that's
that's
crazy.
amazing. Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's cool that we're breaking the cycle now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely.
And she calls everybody like when you listen to the book, she's like, "Hey, cycle breakers!" like she she wants to
yeah.
like empower and like let them
that.
know like this
Cycle
is like
breakers.
we need to, we have
Yeah.
to, like this is we can be okay. You
Yeah.
know?
We have the tools now and,
Yeah,
like,
and we
the
want to help each
resources
other
to do all this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where our parents didn't. Like
No.
they did not have anything. They
No,
were
they
just
didn't know. Yeah,
They didn't have a
They're
chance.
surviving too. You know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't have a chance.
I know. I think about that and I'm like, damn, like imagine if they had somebody like us, how we're doing for ourselves in their corner to help them. Like, because I know there's suppressed trauma, there's suppressed things that happen, you know, maybe things that they've never told anybody, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's a very heavy weight to carry, you know, but we're working on it. See, we broke through with your dad over there. Okay, we're doing something over here,
Tell
guys.
me, I was like, what?
So some more stuff on more technical stuff is, let's see. So, understanding generational trauma. Trauma is a response to a devastating event resulting in adverse physical and emotional outcomes. Traumatic events may include abuse, discrimination, natural disasters, racism, and war. Generational trauma is trauma that extends from one generation to the next. It begins when a group experiences a traumatic event that causes economic, cultural, familial distress. In response, people belonging to that group develop physical or psychological symptoms. People who experience trauma may develop health conditions like anxiety, depression, heart disease, and PTSD. Then subsequent generations may inherit trauma and those health conditions through factors like discrimination and prejudice. So when I looked up generational trauma, the first thing that it said was like, who does it affect the most? Like, you know how when you Google something, it'll have other things, and it'll say like Black Americans, and a lot of it is tied to like slavery because you think about your
It
ancestors.
wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Like-
People think it was so long ago, but it wasn't. You
It
know,
was like 3 generations, maybe. That's nothing.
and it's like you
Crazy.
figure like even with like mixed people, and how do you think they got mixed? You know, they were taken advantage of. They were, you know, R-word from their masters and stuff like that. Like your lineage changed because of trauma that your ancestor, you know, your ancestor experienced.
And
it's like,
after slavery, after it got abolished, there was still a lot of bad shit that was going on.
yeah,
Like they were getting incarcerated. Still getting incarcerated.
Still,
Yeah.
to this day.
To this day, like
yeah,
crazy.
it's like,
people don't see that.
And it's crazy how people don't see it.
No, they
Yeah.
don't
Or
want to
they
see
just,
it.
or they, it's
Yeah.
that they don't want to see it,
They don't
and they're
wanna
just
see
like,
it.
it's not like that anymore. And
Like,
like, why do
what?
people like they need to get over
Crazy.
it? And like I've heard this stuff before, and
yeah,
I'm like,
and I'm like, what?
are you
What do you
fucking
mean?
serious?
I
Like-
always, my opinion is that people like our society is lucky that all they want, you know, Black communities want is equality and to be
Equality,
treated like
that's it.
humans. They don't want revenge, because if they wanted revenge,
Yeah.
it would be something else, you know? But it's like, how hard is it to treat people like humans? Like, even with, you know, what's going on right now politically, like,
You just
it's just a
feel
lot.
the racism, like, on,
Yes.
like, everywhere. It's like, I hate this time when it's like, you know, the last couple months.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, that's why we got to vote.
yeah.
But I know, like, the bad talking, the ads, and just bashing people and
Yeah.
getting, like, the worst.
Like,
And I'm
even
like,
our dads were talking about it yesterday at dinner, and I was like, oh wow, they're talking about politics, you know? Like, okay. And but it's just like, it doesn't feel good when, you know, you're othered, but like, everybody's othered, right? Unless you're on one side of history
Yeah.
and on the other side of history, like. But it's just, I can imagine like how much intergenerational trauma there is in, you know, different communities. Like, even you think about like immigrant families that come here and they're separated from families. Like, when I was talking about the book, the In the Country We Love, look at how much trauma that poor girl experienced, being separated from her parents and left in a country that she's only lived there.
Stranger.
You know, she doesn't know anybody because her family left.
Yeah.
Or like, say when people,
Oh my
like the kids that they call the dreamers, or like the
Oh, yeah.
you know, the ones that they call anchor babies and stuff like that, because they're born here, and then, you know, for that, or like even the ones that come here when they're little and they had no choice, you know, they were brought here and then they get deported to a country that they've never been to. Like, they were born there, but they don't know anything like that, because there have been places
That
like that. Like, even
happens.
like with the I know that there's Marines that were enlisted in, you know, our military, and then they get deported still, and
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
there's an organization.
Yeah,
that
there's
helps,
organization.
yeah, and that's why I'm
So
like,
what is it called? We gotta look it up.
Yeah.
It's in TJ. One is in TJ. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're all over. They're
Yeah.
all
Oh,
over.
are
And
they?
it's usually like the veterans that
Yeah.
are retired and stuff that put it together, that help out. And, you know,
I did a
they
report
always
about
need
it one
money.
time, actually.
Oh, did
in-
you?
Really?
Yeah.
in UNLV, yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like so much trauma that so many people experience. Like, even like within abuse, like, you know, if you witness, if you're not at the end of the abuse but you witness it, then that's traumatic too.
Yeah.
How are you going to trust anybody? And how, you know, just so many things that it's like, no wonder, like in the video she's talking about, it's in your body, because it's like, and
Yeah.
go ahead.
No. Like, it's weird because you, like, think about it. It's like, how is that passed down? Come on. Like, no, like, sperm, like, all the, everything. Like, it's all
Yeah.
connected.
Genetics.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're in fight or flight mode, like, what does that do to your body? Like,
Oh.
I know what it does to my body.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I can never relax.
What did you say? I think you and Tony mentioned that you grab your feet.
Oh
like
yeah,
you're
my
moving to
toes
the ground.
curled. Yeah, my toes
Oh my God,
curl, and I'm like,
I
laugh
didn't
so
realize
hard
I
at
used to
that,
do that
yeah.
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know, it's
I don't
like,
do that as much anymore.
That, like, shake-
Yeah.
yeah.
Like you're holding onto the ground. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna
I'm
get
always
sucked out of
clenching
here.
Clenching my
Fist.
my fist,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
And I'm always. And then, like, once I, like, let it go, like, because I notice that I'm doing it, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, it's like sweaty and just like released. And I'm like, why the fuck do we do this?
Yeah. And that's one of the questions that the girl asked me, because I was like, she asked me, like, why did it? And I said, I know that I carry a lot of trauma in my body. Like, I even feel it in, like, my pelvic area. And it's true, because even when I went to go get the Sovada Maya, like the Mayan, what would you call it? Like a healing massage or something like that. In Tulum, they have ones because they say women carry a lot of trauma in their pelvic area. And then it's like, wow, you know, like,
And
that
that's
affects.
even scarier because that's where the babies are.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it definitely affects, you know, everything.
Yeah.
So
Genetics and then your like social environment combined.
yeah,
Oh my God.
it's like, dang,
We're doomed from the beginning.
right?
And there's nothing like our parents did, right? It's just
Yeah,
just
no.
fucking
Like-
part. It was part of the process, I guess you can say.
This book, she talks about that we have the ability to, because she does a lot of exercises too, like breathing stuff, to like actually do the work of healing that,
Yeah.
right? And she said you can heal like your ancestors' trauma
Wow.
by fixing it
Mm-hmm.
and not passing it down, right? Dang, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, since I'm not
Dang,
gonna have any kids,
doctora,
Kobe and
huh?
Shaq are gonna be good.
I know. That's interesting. I have always thought about that too. I was like, when we were like, we want to have kids, I was like, that's a lot of drama. Like, our poor kid. But we're good now. Chula and Carla are good.
That's funny. I
That's
never
okay.
thought. Like,
Yeah, like, oh my God. Ooh.
that's funny.
But yeah, we're good. So this says examples of generational trauma. It says historical examples of groups affected by generational trauma include Black Americans, Holocaust survivors, and indigenous communities, among others. So we talked about Black Americans already. So Holocaust survivors, it says a survey published in 2017 of 190 adult children of Holocaust survivors found that 18% reported having generalized anxiety disorder.
Oh.
Among those, nearly 14% reported having depression and 7% reported having PTSD.
Oh my gosh. That's from the kids of the Holocaust survivors.
So it says, in 1966, Canadian psychiatrist Vivian M. Rakoff and colleagues were some of the first to recognize the concept of generational trauma. The research team recorded high rates of psychological distress among children of people who survived the Holocaust. Some evidence suggests that the epigenetic changes may cause generational trauma among families affected by the Holocaust. A study published in 2016 found that Holocaust survivors and their children were more likely to have changes in RKBP5 gene than others. RKBP5 is a stress gene that links to anxiety, depression, and PTSD.
Wow. Yeah, genetics.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy, yeah.
So I do want to go back to like statistics that they say about Black Americans. It says an article published in 2020 looked at epigenetic changes due to chronic stress and nutritional deficiencies of Black Americans during slavery in the U.S. The author found that those changes have led to poor physical and mental health outcomes of Black Americans. For example, research has found that generational trauma contributes to a high risk for anxiety, depression, and high blood pressure among Black Americans. The cycle of generational trauma persists due to structural racism, which contributes to economic and health disparities between Black and white Americans.
Yeah.
It
Right?
sucks because
That
it's
sucks.
still going on.
Yeah.
And this just pisses me off because one crowd is like, we know which crowd, right? I don't want to talk about that, like,
Yeah.
politically, but we know who it is. And then the other side is like, come on, like, how do you not see it? Like, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
It is. Because it's like, why does somebody being treated like a human take away from your value?
Nothing.
Why?
Nothing.
Why? You know,
Oh.
like why is it that, why is it taking give and take?
Mm-hmm.
Like we could all be on the same playing field, but you feel that somebody's taking away from you by just
Existing?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep. So it says indigenous communities. Indigenous communities have experienced generational trauma from the loss of culture, land, and population. Trauma persists due to discrimination and prejudice against indigenous communities. In a study published in 2019, researchers found that 15% of indigenous people reported not seeking healthcare services due to discrimination in medical settings. As a result, some evidence suggests that indigenous communities are likelier to have poor mental health and physical outcomes than others due to generational trauma. Like that,
Oh my gosh.
like with the whole residential schools where or they
Make them get assimilated.
yeah
Like back in the day.
yeah
Oh,
like they would assimilate them, or they would take literally separate families,
Take their culture away.
yeah,
And their languages, all that
everything, and it's
Get
like
haircuts.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of their culture, their traditions, and everything was taken from them. And I can only imagine, like, especially indigenous communities are very familial,
Yeah.
like, familial, like, that's their foundation,
Yeah.
you know? And to get that taken away, and it's like, things get lost over the year, people get lost over the years, you know? Like, it's just like, dang, it just sucks. Like, again, why does one have to take away from another?
You guys want to know the real history? Take some college courses.
Yeah.
Because woo,
Yeah. Because
you
the
learn about stuff that you never learn about in high school. Like,
no.
like Black Wall Street, for
Yeah.
example. Like,
Uh-huh.
I never knew about that in high school.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
So in the 1920s, it was like 1921. It was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They had like the black community there had built like this. It was called Black Wall Street, like this big business, like just all kinds of. They were doing so well for themselves, and something happened where they blamed like a black kid or something for something disrespecting somebody, and they literally like went to war with the black people in the community, and they burned the whole place down. They don't even know how many people died, like how many black people died.
Yeah, because they buried that, like, mass
yeah,
burials.
mass burials. So yeah, a lot of people don't
Because
know
they
about
didn't
that.
like, they didn't like that they were better off.
successful.
Yeah, better off than them. Yeah, there's a lot of history that people
A
don't know.
lot.
Which I wanted to tell you guys. I totally forgot, but I wanted to tell you guys, or ask if you guys had watched John Leguizamo's Latin History for Morons.
Yeah. I watched it a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw, like, the beginning.
I think he does a really good job. He currently has a new show coming out on PBS. That's another, like, Latin history, and he's very good about like explaining stuff, and like he's very like he uses his platform to like speak out and stuff like that. Even recently, I know he said something at the Emmys. I think it was like, you know, we've never played Latino, you know, like Latino roles were not played by Latinos. They were played by white people, you know, like, and
Just
even
only Hector, the guy from
Oh,
Fast
yeah.
and the Furious.
Yeah.
He's all the.
He's every
Yeah.
cholo.
He's all the time. Yeah, and it's like a lot of our shows get canceled and stuff like that, and it's like that's what's important.
And they're funny.
They
Yeah,
are.
they're so relatable.
I mean,
and
because like,
relatable.
the white people don't relate it to it, and they're I don't
know.
know.
They're just people. They're just stories, you know. But yeah, back to the topic. Yeah, but it just sucks. Like, I hate that it's like tit for tat. Like, nope, you know.
Yeah.
We have nothing nice. So research has found that signs and symptoms of generational trauma may include a lack of self-worth, anxiety, depersonalization or feeling detached from yourself and your surroundings, depression, emotional numbness, impaired life skills, which is critical thinking, decision making, or managing your life. PTSD symptoms, feeling socially isolated, having negative thoughts, or losing interest in hobbies. Some evidence suggests that generational trauma might affect the immune system. A study published in 2021 looked at genes related to immune health among the children of Holocaust survivors. The researchers found that some of those genes were less active than average. As a result, the participants had low innate immunity, which is the immunity you were born with.
Wow.
Going back to like, as you're like born, like even before you're born, it's in the bloodstream. Yeah.
Damn it.
You're born with anxiety.
Yeah.
Let's see.
No wonder I didn't have any more kids.
So that's basically saying the same thing. Like, your genes are basically changed, like they're altered. And it says then those changes pass down to your children. Let's see.
I wish we like all knew this before we have kids. You know, like if this was like taught like in school, like in high school, like hey, you know, dummy.
What the hell were we taught in high school?
You want to pass this? You want to pass this down? You want to pass this shit down?
Yeah. I was talking to my godson yesterday, and he was telling me that they have a lot of resources at the school because he lives in the dorms. And he was telling me that they have counselors and stuff like that. And then on Tuesdays, I think he said they have therapy dogs that come in. And I was like, oh my God, I would be there
Yeah.
every day. But it's like so cool that there's stuff like that, but it's also, you have to use the
Use it.
resources,
Yeah.
like they're out there.
They're
You just have to
there,
use them.
yeah.
That's like why I feel like people, our generation, right? Like people our age now, we know all this stuff. Like, why not use all this stuff that we have
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
All the resources. That's almost like doing a disservice to our parents and the people before them. It's like they didn't have that shit.
The thing is, like, I mean, I don't know, but what I think, people are like too cool for school.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
they don't want to like.
A lot of the times they don't want to face. They don't want
They don't want the help. They don't want the.
Tell us, what is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I was like that. I was
Yeah.
like that. I'm still kind of like that sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to like veteran stuff, like I won't park in the veteran spot, or I won't
No?
like go. You know, like I don't know, because I feel so like I have really bad imposter.
Imposter syndrome.
Why? You're a veteran too.
Excuse me. I know, but I still feel.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I still feel like that, and
What do you think it is? If you don't mind me asking.
I don't. Maybe my job that I was admin.
So,
But, I
you still
mean-
signed up. Put
No, I
your
know.
ass on the line.
Still went over there.
Yeah,
No?
you still went over there.
I don't know.
I think everybody who's joined the military for sure has some kind of issues afterwards.
After, huh?
Yeah. It's not a
Yeah.
normal thing.
Or it just
you
comes
don't
out.
question. You're not supposed to question any
Yeah.
orders or anything like
Yeah.
that. You're just supposed to be some kind of robot in a way.
Yeah.
And it's
You
like-
can't talk about like politics.
So, how is generational trauma diagnosed? We know trauma can manifest itself through stress, anxiety, fight or flight, and other heightened alert systems in our brain and bodies. But intergenerational trauma can also mask itself through learned beliefs, behavior, and patterns that become ingrained. This kind of wiring impacts personalities, relationships, parenting, communication, and views of the world. Although there is no test to diagnose generational trauma, a healthcare provider can use a mental health screening to check for mental illness
Oh, wow.
if your family has a history of trauma. A mental health screening involves a set of questions about your appetite, feelings, mood, sleep, and other behaviors. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
But it's like the way that it says learned beliefs, behaviors, patterns that become ingrained.
So I have a little. Oh,
No, go
ahead.
first.
No, go ahead.
You go first.
Okay, so I know we've talked about it before, like the whole body shaming of, you know, like my mom was notorious for that. Like she's really bad and always limited our food, right? And she
Yeah.
always just said like 2 tacos, 2 slices of pizza. It was always a 2 thing, right? And I wondered, I'm like, why? Like, I'm fucking hungry. Like, I want another taco, right? Like, why? Like, you know, it used to annoy the crap out of me, right? And especially because I'm like, it's not gonna make a difference. Like, you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
It was all whatever. And I saw when my mom was living with us, I saw her do the same thing to my daughter, and I was like, like no, we don't do that here. Like no, but I was guilty of doing stuff too, of body shaming myself and like doing stuff too. So I definitely corrected that at that moment with my mom and my daughter. But I also said, hey, like I'm totally guilty and I do the same stuff, but we need a change. We can't do this, you know? And like, this is something that we've been doing, like fast forward now, we've been calling each other out. So, you know, I corrected that and, you know, I was like, hey, we're not going to do that. And, but I also noticed that I was doing, you know, things too. And I, you know, like I called myself out and I said, hey, like I do the same stuff like you guys, but like, we just need to like call each other out, you know, hold each other accountable, right? Like we all want to do better.
Yeah.
And, with my mom, like later on, like, it wasn't like that day or anything like that because it was very like I was really, really upset, right? Because it triggered my feelings. It triggered my, like, childhood, right? So I asked her, I'm like, Mom, like, why is it that you guys, like, you only eat 2? Like, why, what's 2? What is the
significance?
Yeah. And then she's just like, I don't know. Like, we just, like, my mom always said that we can only eat a little bit because we're little and we have to stay little. And I was like, I'm not little. but and, you know, and like I talk like that to my mom and she laughs or she just doesn't get it. She just, you know, whatever.
That's funny.
And she's like, oh, she just wants us to make, you know, stay small or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she's like, and I was like, was it ever anything because there were so many kids, like, to feed? So it was like, this is like how it was split. And she's like, oh, maybe. And then she was like, maybe. She's like, but she didn't feed us. And like that opened something else up because it was her older sisters that were feeding because grandma was in Mexico, I think, for a while because it was just a kid. I don't remember the story, to be honest, but I don't want to say because I don't know. But I know that Tia Selena, Tia Maria, like they showed them how to cook, like our moms how to cook and stuff, and you know it was like kind of passed down like that. Yeah, and they all had like jobs. And I guess my mom really sucked at hers or something. Your mom has always said that to me.
Really?
I was like, oh yeah,
how funny! Oh my gosh, how funny!
But yeah, but so my whole point was like, it happens right in front of you, right? And then it's like, but you also have to call yourself out, you know, like we do the same shit.
Learned behavior. Yeah. What were you saying, Renee?
I was just gonna mention like how a lot of it was probably from grandma, our grandma from our side. Like
she's mean.
She was mean.
She's so mean.
She was so mean.
She was an angel, okay? That was her favorite.
Actually, our guest coming up was her favorite.
Frank?
Yeah.
Frank?
And you know what? Do you guys remember that picture?
The football one?
It was like the size of
football
that.
one?
Yeah.
Him in the football uniform?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Blue
like
and yellow.
the size of that. Right? It was like a
remember.
Rams or something.
Yeah.
But like all our pictures was like it was like
That's so funny.
group pictures of us, right? But she
That's
had like
funny.
a picture like that. Oh my god, we should get one.
We should
give
put
it
it
to
on. Let's
him.
put it on the wall. Let's put it on the wall next.
Put it on our
next
wall.
Oh my gosh,
For our
that's so
Yeah.
funny.
One by one.
That's so funny. I think about that. Like, how much of the way that they raised us was because that's the way that they were raised. You know?
All of it.
You know? Like, it reminds me of this story
God.
about a wife she wants to surprise her husband by making this ham that his mom always made. And so she made the recipe. She's following the recipe, and the recipe says, cut off 2 to 3 inches of the ham, and then, you know, you discard it or whatever, and then you cook it or whatever, right? And then she made it, and it came out like that, and then she sees her mother-in-law, and she was like, oh, I gotta ask you, like, what was up with the ham? And she was like, oh, I don't know, that it was my mom's recipe, like, you know, whatever. So then they asked the mom, right, the grandma, and they're like, why do you cut off 2 inches? And she goes, oh, because the ham was always too big for my stove, so I had to cut it off, and I had to remind myself.
Oh my god.
So the mom, the grandma, right, is the one with the recipe, but the mom never asked, and then it wasn't until the daughter-in-law asked that it was like, this is why, you know, and it's like, it's passed down like that, you know.
You don't question it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, right, that's what your story about your mom reminded me, because you were like, was it because there were so many of you?
Yeah.
And she didn't
Yeah.
even think to question why, too. It was,
Yeah.
this is the rule and this is what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to question it. And then
Uh-huh.
she passed it down.
Uh-huh.
And, you know,
Uh-huh.
maybe it was because there wasn't enough
Yeah.
for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
But
There's enough now, Mom.
There's enough for everybody.
Oh my
Chícate otro
gosh. Now I just think about it. oh my, what the fuck? Sorry. My sister and I used to get,
Did you just say sorry because you cussed?
yeah, I
Oh
don't
my
know why.
god. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
No, don't say sorry.
That's real.
This is us talking. Yes.
So when we were like growing up, Bobby always used to say, "You feed us like birds, like just little portions."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like I didn't think
Yeah.
about it until right now that you said
Uh-huh.
that your mom would do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I would
I'm
like
I'm still hungry.
when I would like go on dates, a lot of the girls, women I date, they eat more than I do.
Right?
And I'm like, they're like, "You eat like a
Oh, I
like a-
remember.
Huh?
You
Yeah,
guys
we talked about
mentioned
this,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, because you were like,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I cut you off, but finish.
No, it's just that like
They're like,
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
because you said they were like, why are you eat less than
Yeah.
me, you know?
Yeah.
that's why my stomach was used to that.
How am I supposed to keep this trim figure, ladies?
I gotta stay small. Yeah. And see, I feel like
Oh my gosh.
I feel like my mom was in her own little world, like, because she was the baby of the
Uh-huh.
family.
Uh-huh.
So there are certain things that her siblings experienced that she didn't.
Mm.
Like when we were fed, she would fill up the plate. Like there was no limit. That's how when you guys were like, no, our mom's limited us. And I was like, well, not mine. Like, fill up the whole plate. And then when I would cook for Fernando, he's like, why did you serve the whole plate? I'm like, because you got to fill the whole plate. What do you mean? But that's so funny. Like, so different,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. But, see? Generational trauma.
You gotta cut it.
Yep. Yep.
This is
Uh-huh.
part of it, though.
Cortale.
Yeah, you know,
Like-
something
Prima.
that ended up in
Cortale.
Cortale. Yeah, like
Shout out
something
Abby.
so like, you know, like yes, the emotions and yes, the trauma and stuff like that, but little things like that,
Yes.
like body dysmorphia, and you know, it even affected your appetite.
I think it affects the whole family because we were at a party the other day, and I was like, no one of our cousins is like obese. Think about it. Well, we're body shamed.
We're all body.
Yeah.
Fucked up, huh?
Fucked
That's
up.
so fucked up.
I was like,
Did I tell
hey,
you
no
guys
one's
the story?
big.
Did I tell you guys the other story about when I got my hair? About what the lady said?
No.
No? Okay, so I have to tell you guys the story because it's so funny because I didn't get it until after. Okay, so the lady that was cutting my hair, she's like, oh, so are you married? And I was like, no, I have a boyfriend. And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, does he know you're cutting your hair? And I was like, it doesn't matter. He's so he'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, are you Latina or Filipino? And I was like,
I always
I'm
get
Latina.
that.
I was like, I'm Latina.
Always
Yeah,
get
I got it today too.
Oh, no.
And then
Yeah.
Hawaiian. I got Hawaiian. Anyway, so the lady's like, do you want she's like, oh, does your mom know? And I was like, actually, I was like, she's been kind of wanting me to get my hair, do something to my hair. She,
Yeah.
usually says something. I was like, but you know who really says something? I was like, my Nina. I was like, my aunt. I was like, she usually like sends me pictures of just different hairstyles or whatever. And she's like, that's fucked up.
My mom?
She's
so
like,
funny.
she's sending you pictures
Oh
of
my
haircuts,
God.
like to tell you, like,
Mom.
here, change it. And I was like, no, I don't think she means it like that. She means
Yeah.
it like, oh, look at, this.
Yeah.
She was like, no, that's fucked up.
Body
I
shaming.
didn't see it like
That's
that,
so
you know?
funny.
But she was just like, she sent you a picture of somebody else.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's so funny that you say that because the señoras at work, the ladies at work that are Peruvian, they're all Peruvian, right? They're all in this little office.
Oh my gosh.
And one of them, she always calls me chula, hermosa. Like, she's always like, oh. And then I cut my hair and she was like, ay, te cortaste el pelo. You cut your hair. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, oh. She has not called me chula. And I'm like, and then one of the other ladies came and was like, oh, you cut your hair?
I know.
And I was like, rude. Not even like, oh, it looks good. Oh, you cut your hair. And I was like,
Or do you
Ew.
get,
what the heck?
it looks healthy.
No.
I did that now, and I'm like, damn.
No.
Ever since that stylist said that, now I'm like watching.
You're all breaking it down now. Wait a minute.
Hold
Yeah.
up.
That's funny.
So
No.
real quick.
Real
Uh-huh.
quick.
What you
real
said about
quick.
my mom. My mom will send me these magic potions that I should try out to grow my hair back. Like every now and then. I'm like, okay, mom. It's like put this shit on your hair and it'll grow back. And Mom, I like this. You fine? Like I'm fine with it. Like I just shave it. And then
Oh
I
my
think like
gosh.
I think if there was a magic potion out there, it would have been found already, right?
Yeah,
I'd be using it.
uh-huh.
But
Oh
I
my
don't like.
God.
I like this now. This is my look.
Yeah.
She doesn't get that. She wants me to look like how she wants me to look.
Oh yeah, no, that ain't gonna work.
Like,
That ain't gonna work.
No. You need to be your own self.
One day I'm gonna send a video
Hey.
to you guys that she sends
Hey.
me on YouTube.
okay,
Hey,
really?
that stopped the moment she stopped buying your chonies, okay?
Oh my gosh, I can't breathe.
That's so funny, huh? I know.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Forgot about that moment.
We should go back. Nina, I love you so much, and I know you're watching, and I love you so much. Like you,
I love you
you're
too,
like,
Mom.
You're like my second mom, like second, third mom. Like, oh, I have so much love for you. But let's look at all her texts, all the. We should go back and look at everything she said. So my mom included, like all the backhand,
And comments and
Compliments?
compliments.
Oh my god.
I
funny.
forgot about that bald stuff.
I know a lot of them were like to lose weight and to like
Yes.
shakes and like.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
and they
Kevin
in their head they mean well.
Should never gave her YouTube access. All I get is YouTube videos from her about religion or
Oh my god.
balding.
Oh my god, I'm laughing because I'm getting the same messages from my mom. I'm like, dang, you're on YouTube again.
I'm over here like this. Can't relate.
They should have never gave them YouTube access, Lisa.
Can't relate.
Shit.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Ay, ay, ay. All right, guys. So that's the end of our topic.
Yeah.
Let's go to our deep card. Okay. Ooh, this one's good. Are you quicker to blame or take accountability?
Now take accountability.
Now
Like
take
it's
accountability.
disgusting sometimes. I'm like, bitch, shut up. Why did you say anything? You know?
I've gotten a lot better because I would blame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to take accountability because I do have a tendency to be like, if Fernando's like, hey, you didn't take out the trash from here. And I'm like, well, you didn't do this. You know, I divert and I'm working on that. So it's a good question.
I'm working on it. I think I've gotten better with accountability.
Mhm.
But the other day I left the stove on. I was watching our YouTube, but be careful
You get lost in
what
the
you're
sauce.
doing. Because I was gonna make the dog their chicken, right? Cook it, and I turned it on. I started watching our YouTube video, and I wandered off.
Oh no.
Oh no. Almost blew up the house.
So my dad comes. It was like 20 minutes later. He's like, "You did it again." I was like. And he kind of got like in my face a little bit. I was like, instead of like, he just kind of walked up, not like confrontational, but he's just like, you did it again. I was like, did what? He goes, you left the stove on. And then I turned it on him like in a way where I was like, hey, don't talk to me like that. What the hell?
Yeah.
And I got upset though when he came at me. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, can you be nicer about it? Like, you don't have to be mean to me. Like, you don't have to be confrontational. But I did take accountability for the thing. I was like, I did mess up. But can you just be like, I'm not a child anymore. I am your child, but I'm not a child. I'm an adult. Speak to me that way. Don't speak to me that way, please. And he understood it. So it did take responsibility, but at the same time, I kind of deflected in a way. But I did say, hey, I'm not trying to say I didn't do wrong, but just come at me in a different manner, please.
Yeah.
Like we're adults.
Like you fixed it.
Yeah, I fixed it, but then I did it again today.
Hey! He's like,
Because we don't have the air fryer.
He's like, I'm trying to wake up from my nap, okay? I'm trying to not wake up from my nap, Renee, because of you. Oh my god.
We got an air fryer fixed now, so we're good.
Okay,
I'm not gonna use that for that anymore. That's when I
God.
usually do it when I'm cooking their dog the meat.
Oh my god. You're making the dogs dinner?
Their dinner, their breakfast.
Oh my
Dogs
God.
eat better than humans.
us.
They do. Oh my gosh. Whew. My abs hurt.
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and share.
Share.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a guest next time.
Oh,
My
yeah,
cousin
we're gonna
Frank
have
and
two guests.
Rebecca.
We're gonna have a couple
Live
guests
Rebecca.
next week live. What else did I want to say? I don't remember. Tell your friends about us, cause
Yeah.
my sister was saying that Melissa's friend from work watches and listens to her podcast, and she'll be like,
shut
"Did you hear? Did you watch it already?" She was like, "No." I was like, "That's so cool. I love it." I don't know her name, but shout out Melissa's friend.
Shout out to our cousin Crystal, and lives in Tennessee now.
Oh yeah.
Text me the other day
Yeah,
that
yeah,
she
yeah,
listens to us, and
Yeah.
it helps her from being homesick.
Oh,
living
that's
over
so
there.
cool.
Yeah.
I love
So she's
it.
gonna try to come out here one day and get on the podcast.
Cool.
Hi, Crystal.
Yeah.
Hi.
Crystal with the C.
Yeah. All right. Well,
So
thanks,
cool.
guys. Reach out to us. Let us know. Let us know if there's anything you want to hear, any suggestions,
Yeah.
anything. If you want to submit questions for us to read in lieu of our deep
Oh.
cards. But yeah.
That's good. That's
All right,
good.
guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us. If you are in need of any medical assistance, please contact your local provider. If you are having thoughts of suicide, please call the National Suicide Hotline at 988. In case of emergency, call 911. See you next week as we talk about the things we're not supposed to talk about.